We go. All right. It looks like we're on the system here. All right. Looks good. We aren't going to use any profanity. All right, cool. Looks like we're good. Nice. Hey, Mary, what's going on real estate? Tell us, give us an update on real estate, Mary. You can hear Pablo up there barking like a crazy man. Hello, Renee. What's going on, Renee? Hey, welcome aboard. I just figured I'd invest and grow, jump on a live stream. I didn't do many. Did I do any videos today? I don't think I did. Woo, been a busy day for old Josh, that's for sure. Retired 2019. All right. Fantastic. Ward, Brian, troublemaker. See, I got stuff in my teeth. Doesn't look like it. Why you call me troublemaker, man? Whoa. What's that? What's that about? Why you gotta call me troublemaker? It hurts my feeling. Waiting for a client. All right, right on. All right. Well, make sure, just give us a heads up. Is real estate in Maryhamptonville, Connecticut, Westport kicking butt? Or what are you seeing? Just say yay is booming, or very busy, lots of buyers, no inventory. Are they coming from the New York City? Is that where you're seeing them come from? And do you think, in the realm of your people, in other parts, not just of Westport, Connecticut, do you think that's representative of the rest of the U.S.? If you had a guesstimate, is it very busy across the U.S.? Crazy New York. Right on, Roberto. Trevor, right on. I posted a article today, or a link to it. I'm not sure. I don't even think I posted a link. Hold on just a second. That was Maryland and North Carolina. Right on. All right. What part of Maryland you in? Retired 2019. Yeah, well, thanks, girl. Hey, look who it is, everybody. It's Chloe with our U.S. veteran. Every day is Veterans Day at USA. You're the bet. You guys are going to get the boys. Yep. Thanks, Mom. Can you take a pee? Yeah. All right. More northeast. All right. Gotcha. I had posted a thing on actually, let's just read it. Let's just go and read it. Hey, hold on just a second. Let's read this article from my man over at we'll read this article. I want to go over a couple of things today. Hello, Daryl. Que paso? Sorry about the short notice. Actually, no notice. I just figured I'd get on the live stream. I'm trying to do them twice a week now. Once on Sunday and once on Wednesdays. That's my goal here, because I enjoy them. All right, here we go. So let's go into this. This is nuts. And I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm stunned. I mean, everybody's been wrong. All right. So here's existing home sales increased 20.7% in June. And so and again, my man Brian Westbury, our First Trust Advisors. Let me just hold on just a second. So let me see what kind of comments we've got here. All right, there we go. And be honest with you, I don't follow what First Trust does. Whether they have ETFs, I just don't know anything about them. I literally pay no mind to them. Not that I don't trust them or like them or anything. Vanguard is away from me. All right, so anyway, there we go. All right, cool. So I can see it right there. There we go. All right, there we go. I just want to make sure everything looks good. All right, so let's read what this my man Brian is saying. We got thunderstorms, but no rain down here. Whoever said that, and we need the rain. Something wicked, because man, it's dry back there. I've lost. I'm about to lose. I'm drawing a blank what the kind of bush is. I transplanted it, and that's like a big root system. And I transplanted it in another part of the backyard, and it hadn't rained at all. And so I'm trying to save it. We'll see if I can rescue it. I'm getting ready. Hey, Brett, I see if Germantown, right on. We'll see if I can rescue it with some heavy watering here this afternoon. But man, it sucks seeing a tree that you cared for from the beginning grow. You transplant it and it was doing fine until you have no rain. Ugh, sucks. All right, so anyway, let's read. We got here we are right here. You can see this huge jump in the last in the last month in June 2020. So let's just read what Brian says. Following 3 consecutive months of declines, existing home sales posted the largest monthly gain on record going back to 1999. Remember, this is important. Existing home sales are counted at closing. So June's 20.7 surge mostly reflects contracts that were signed in May as lockdowns are largely being lifted. The recent second wave of coronavirus cases began in June, so it's possible to see some short-term headwinds to continued growth in the coming months, but it looks like existing home sales recovery has begun in earnest. One major contributor is the Fed's liquidity policies, which have pushed mortgage rates below 3%. In fact, demand for existing homes has remained strong, so strong that 62% of homes sold in June are on the market for less than a month. That's just crazy. My man Scott up here in right north Gilmer County, I think he put his house on the market on day one, and by the end of day one, he got four. I can't remember what he said, but he got it at asking price, if not more, and they had a contract literally the next day. It's crazy. Close on my new home in San Diego, in South Dakota. Right on, Jeff. Where you at in South Dakota, brother? Tell us about it. Jeff? Where are you relocating from? What's bringing you to South Dakota? Give us all the details on that. As some of y'all may know, I'm keen on South Dakota. It ain't gonna happen until the kids are out of school. I know that. So I'm out there today with a shovel. I got a pickaxe because when you have a pool put in, I didn't know that you have to do the landscaping, and I'm not paying anyone to do landscaping. I'll tell you that right now. It's like, so we got a truck 10 cubic yards of dirt. It wasn't topsoil. It wasn't landfill. It was Georgia clay with some basic manure and something else, some kind of flour that he put in there. And so we dumped. So I got to spread all that around. Woo! And I was out there just the Georgia clay is heavy, man, because we want to plant all kinds of bushes and shrubs and all that. And then my friend from Utah, we went. I have had my grill for 8-9 years. And that sucker has, I probably use it five days a week, summers, winters, everything else in between. That sucker has done me right, but I need a new grill. And now they got these infrared grills, and because I'm a veteran, I get my 10% off. And so I bought one of those infrared grills at Lowe's, and it's like $5.50, got 10% off, and it's sweet. It's got 4 things plus infrared. So we'll see. It looked good. I'm looking forward to it for sure. I love, man, because I'm out there all the time. And I didn't get one of those double where you got 2 you can use wood pellets or anything, but I'll get a wood pellet one next for sure. All right, so headed south, probably Tennessee. Where are you from, Ward, again? Where'd you say? I forgot. Okay. Germantown? Is that what you said? Germantown, Maryland. All right, so Ward, you're in that neck of the woods. I thought Germantown was in Montgomery County, All right, so anyway, it's not hard to see why some buyers, hey, right on, new to live stream, right on, Michael, glad to have you here. It's not hard to see why some buyers have stuck around despite the pandemic, with median price growth decelerating from an annual rate of 8.1% in February to 3.5% in June. Good deals abound for those who are willing to look. Notably, buyers have been signaling a preference for more personal space, avoiding dense urban areas. In response to the pandemic. Could be anything else there, Brian. Anything else might happen to be response to more dense or less dense space away from the urban areas. A mass shooting at a funeral in Chicago. Crazy. You stop being political, Josh. North of Baltimore, right on, man. Right on. Anyway, so let's see. Notably, buyers have been signaling, we talked about it since February, the last full month before the economy virus. Sales of condos and co-ops are down 26%, while sales of single-family units are only down 17%. Going forward, sales still face a headwind from low inventory of existing homes, as fewer potential sellers have been listing their properties due to pandemic-related weakness in the market, which sounds like it's not the case. Inventories in June were down 18% versus a year ago. So inventories go down, demand, supply, it's inventories, right? So you got supply going down by 18%. Demand doesn't look like demand's down at all. You're going to have a price increase. There's just no other way around that. You take away the supply, and this I think it's. I mean, look, Mary's in real estate. I'm not. It just seems to me when you have a decrease in demand and supply, because people are afraid that they're going to get short shifted, whatever it is, shifted on the price, that they're going to assume, say those that supply is going to come back, because they're going to. I mean, this is what freaking price, supply and demand is. This is why capitalism is freaking will always win. Because I'm sitting there saying I wasn't going to list my home, because I was worried about the economy virus and was going to do the price. Now I see there's a huge sales are going crazy now, and I see that there's a huge demand. There's not that much inventory. I'm now going to list my home. And so what's going to happen is that will reverse the trend and make the prices come down, or not go up as much. It's just what makes. That's why socialism will never win, because people know their own neighborhoods, they know themselves, they just know their own, um, just their preferences more than anyone else. I don't understand why people don't get this. People will know how to choose their own behavior that suits best for them. The government can't do that. Only you can do that. So my man Ward is going to move from Baltimore down to Tennessee. The government can't know what Ward's preference is. They don't. And so there's a million billion actions of someone like Ward and everybody else in this country is happening every single day. How is the government going to tell you all those preferences and what the price point should be? They can't. It's impossible. It's always impossible. It's a losing game that always ends up in dead bodies. This is what drives me crazy, man. Everyone's like, stop being so political. It's all political, man. Freaking financial planning is all political. It boggles my mind how many people don't get this. It's nuts. I'm like, you cannot be focused on retirement planning, financial planning, investment planning, tax planning, and not recognize there's politics at stake at all the time. It's crazy. And yet people always like, it drives me up the wall. All right. Inventories in June were down 18 point. We talked about that. 18 points. Unemployment recovers, inventories increase. As unemployment recovers, inventories increase, and the Fed continues to hold rates low. The building blocks will be in place for continued recovery in the housing market. In other news this morning, the FHFA index was measured. Price for homes financed by conforming mortgages declined 0.3% in May, but is up 4.9% from a year ago. So I think conforming mortgages, aren't those 80% down? I'm not sure if. Hey, Nick, where you at from Maine, man? Moving from Nebraska, retired in September, 33 years. I want my wife to be close to her family in South Dakota. Right on. All right, that's cool, man. Right on. Appreciate that. Cool. All right, so we got Nick Myers from Maine coming on board for sure. All right, well, good. That's good stuff. I want to talk about this Corona high frequency data stuff. It's actually, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to got to go, says Mary. Unacceptable. Let's see. All right, so let's just do the hotel occupancy, still down 38% year over year. So we're down 38% year over year, but we're up 4.2% month over month. That's MOM. Steel production is down 30% year over year, but we are up 6.7% month over month. Box office receipts, look at that, 99.7% is down, and even down 26% month over month. That's nuts. Near Augusta, right on, Nick. I'm from Maine myself. It's been a long, long time, but I don't remember seeing your name on these parts. So welcome aboard. If you've been here and I missed you, my apologies. Let's see. Let's see. Hotel revenues are still down 54% year over year, but up 20% month over month. This is always interesting. TSA checkpoint data is down 75% year over year, 75%, but we got a big increase. Hey, what's going on, James? We got a big increase in the month over month and the supply of gasoline. All right. He also has something here too that we can see right here, COVID-19 tracker. I actually like this quite a bit. Make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully y'all can see this. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's take a gander, shall we? Daily reports of new commie virus tests versus daily reported deaths. So here's the deaths, then the orange it looks like, is that right? Yeah, deaths are in the orange. And you can see at an uptick and then it's coming back down, even though reports are going through the roof. Look, we watch, for some reason, my wife likes to watch the local news. I think she just has this background noise. And all they talk about is coronavirus, a spiking the spiking reports, the spiking this, and it's like, but it's not spiking here. I had a guy on my YouTube channel, who is it? I forgot, but saying it's not deaths anymore. No, it's Brett Weinstein. He wasn't on my YouTube channel. I was listening to him while I was doing some yard work, saying it's not about deaths, it's about the long-term problems that you're going to have with the coronavirus. Like, where did this come from, Brett? I was like, what the hell? No one's ever, I mean, I'm not saying no one's ever said that, but it's like, come on. Oh, by the way, can you believe they're tearing down statues of even like people, the slave owners like Frederick Douglass? These people are actually saying, I'm saying that without being sarcastic. The left, my friends, has no sense. I hate to even sense this humor because it's not really humorous to talk about slave, but no sense of sarcasm. It's crazy. So I said something the other day on it actually ticks me off that these people have no sense of jest. They take everything literal. It's like a bunch of zombies running around in a Maoist China. You know, you can't smile. You can't think for yourself. You can't have any independent thought. You're going to listen to whatever they say, and everything is going to be literal. It's the weirdest thing. This is why they hate Trump. People on the right say the left takes Trump literally, but not seriously, where people on the right take Trump seriously, but not literally, if that makes sense. So we know Trump was saying, hey, Putin, give us our emails on Hillary Clinton. We know that was hyperbole. The left thinks Trump literally is talking to Hillary saying, give us the emails, Putin. It's crazy. And it's just, these people are nuts. So I did a thing where I said the Antifa BLM mob are tearing down statues is not just of Confederate generals anymore, but now it's of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and even that slave owner, Frederick Douglass. And these people are like, you said it, Josh. You said it. You said that he was a slave owner. I'm like, I sit there and the sad thing is, and I've watched you look, these people, and this is why I ban people who start getting this because it ticks me off because they can use that against you. They can say, Josh said Frederick Douglass was a slave owner. And that's actually correct. I did say that. They can say that. And I'm never going to go out of context. These people kiss my butt. But they say that. They will say that always and everywhere and totally manipulate what you said. It's nuts how bad these people are. It's nuts what they will do, how they'll take a full sentence and they'll chop it up in half and it'll look like you're like freaking the next Hitler. It's crazy. These people are bad. And the fact that they can't recognize hyperbole, sarcasm, or even just jest, never mind humor. This is who we're dealing with, my friends. These people are nuts. They're nuts. They have no sense of, I don't want to say morality, but just they're zombies. And we're dealing with a bunch of zombies in this world. And how do you beat zombies? Well, you can't argue with them. You can't debate them because they have nothing there's nothing there. This is just mush. They have nothing here. No sense of critical thinking at all. The sad thing is they got no sense of humor, no sense of joy. That's the sad thing. And if you're arguing with someone no sense of joy, asking for logic, they're not going to have any. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, I'm stunned. The level of just apathy. It's actually quite frightening because we're seeing that no joy at all. It's too bad. And I look, I tried to be the Christian. And I do pray for these people. I do every day. I get on my hands and knees, or not hands and knees, but my knees, and pray every single morning. I say the Our Father, do my cross as a Catholic. Say the Our Father. Pablo comes up, growls at me, so I bring him up on the couch as I'm on my knees on the ground. And I say my prayers to the good Lord. I ask for strength. I ask for forgiveness, and then I just pray for Donald Trump. I pray for the political enemies, and I pray for our country. And it's just sad. All right, so let's read this. So we got here the spiking cases, and again, remember that's just reported cases. The CDC, as I said many moons ago, and now they're confirmed. I'll show it to you here in just a second. They're reporting that there's probably 12 times as many cases actually as what has been reported. Well, I'll show you that for living proof. 30 children under the age of 15 have died from the coronavirus. 30. In a typical year, now 190 children died of the flu, 436 from suicide, 625 from homicide, and 4114 from unintentional deaths such as drowning. It's actually sad. The guy who helped me get my new grill today, his daughter literally drowned as a 3-year-old girl. Thankfully, thankfully, the young man who is the lifeguard was able to resuscitate her, just barely though. I cannot imagine. Cannot imagine. But his daughter literally drowned. She was out. She was gone. You know what I'm saying? And he said, I just basically know basic CPR. He did it and he saved her life. And the NRA used to talk about this a lot, like more children die. And it was in a kiddie pool too, just that much. And the NRA used to say more children die from drowning in 2 inches of water than they do from accidental discharge in the United States. And it was a sad state of affairs for sure. But this is how insane it was to say that firearms are. Well, someone think about our children. Someone think about the children. It's nuts. Let's see. We see an estimated share of inpatient beds occupied by confirmed or suspected COVID-19 patients from April 15th to July 20th. So we see a rise. Okay, Arizona, Texas, Florida, New York. And then we got New York is going down because they're all dead because they threw them in the nursing home, freaking Cuomo. But we still have we have lots of capacity yet. And again, and we have to challenge the suspected because I don't trust the numbers as far as I could kick them. Deaths as a share of hospitalizations in the U.S. You can see the deaths are plunging. The cases are going up. The deaths are plunging. ICU admissions versus mobility in the United States. Average mobility trend, retail. So the mobility, people are moving around more, grocery and pharmacy, parks, transit stations, and workplaces. So we're moving up. People are actually getting out there actively engaged. And you can see the ICU trends are way down, a little bit up, a bit uptick, but not much. And just because they're going the ICU, that doesn't, yeah, okay, in the ICU with COVID-19. So we're seeing an uptick in there, but not to the extent of the increase in activity. Let's see, weekly number of positive COVID-19 tests by age groups. And so the biggest ones, 18 for 49, which are the vast majority can be just fine. And then we'll see death. And here's this, here's under 18. The idea that you shouldn't go back to school is nuts. Deaths by age and share of population. And we can see that 85 and older represent 33% of the deaths, and they're only 2% of the population. 65 to 74 represent basically 21% of the deaths, and they're only 9% of the population. Even here, I'd challenge if these are truly COVID-19 deaths. So let's just look real quick. What I'm thinking about the CDC. This is a CDC website. You can see Centers for Disease Control and Prevention right here in Atlanta. And we can read right here, cases reported as of April 1st. They're just going back. Estimated infections based on seroprevalence, and they say at least 12 times higher. Difference between the estimated number of infections based on seroprevalence right here, and the difference in the actual cases, 12 times higher is according to the CDC, 12 times. All right, so that's again just goes to show you if you have 12 times higher, which everyone, and who knew about this, and was it Santa Clara, taught lots of different studies on this, and they all said the cases are extraordinarily high, which meant the death rate was, anyone who said the death rate was over 2 was a freaking fool. They just fell for the Kool-Aid and the scare tactics. It was just nuts. Even Fauci, again, I hate to keep referring back to this because I don't like that guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't trust him as far as I could kick him. But even he was saying in February that this is going to be simply as a severe flu. That's all he was saying. He was right. In fact, now we got a 0.3% mortality rate. It's just this 99.7% survival rate. The idea that all these people are scared crapless, it boggles my mind. And it just is nuts. It's weird. And when I was thankfully, I think, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just where I live in North Fulton County, Georgia, which is I don't want to, this used to be Newt Gingrich's district. We're now run by Lucy Macbeth or something like that. And she's a big lib. Hopefully she'll come out this year. But so it's not right wing by any stretch, but it seems like more and more people are just laughing at the whole nonsense of this stuff. At least the people I talk to. I talked to my nurses the other day. There's a black lady I was talking to at Lowe's today, and I was just saying, yeah. And I told her, I said, man, we're talking about they had a coin shortage at Lowe's. I was saying it's all part to get us on the digital currency. She was, I know, they want to track us. I said, I'm telling you, I know. I felt like that Saturday Night Live Black Jeopardy. when Tom Hanks was on there with the Tom Hanks was playing the redneck guy, the Make America Great, and he if you haven't seen that skit, Black Jeopardy with Tom Hanks, it is funny as hell. And I felt like as a Tom Hanks with the Make America Great, and this black lady was there. She was like, "No, they're all trying to trace us." Oh my goodness, I was cracking up. Again, just goes to show you being racist is stupid because we all are created in the image of one God. All right, so let's see what else I want to talk about today. I want to talk about. Didn't want to talk about that yet. I did want to. Didn't want to talk about that yet. I want to talk about this. I think this might be the same thing, but someone had just emailed this to me. I think it's Miranda. I haven't read the article why COVID could shrink Social Security benefits. I haven't. It's oh God, Chris Farrell. No, I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be what we heard about with Brian, not Brian, Andrew Biggs. Actually, let's see if we can find Biggs in here. Nothing. Oh man. All right. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. We'll see if there's a different take on why the economy virus could shrink Social Security benefits. Let's see. The economic fallout is so severe it's likely to move up the long anticipated date of the depletion of the trust fund. Okay, maybe that's this guy's argument. On top of that, the president and his economic advisors hope to include a temporary suspension of his Social Security and Medicare payroll tax. Okay. No question, Congress and the Trump administration need to come to terms on another fiscal relief. I agree with that. Everyone's up in the, all these. Look, if you're a conservative, you hate the debt and the deficit added to the debt. Well, I hate to say it, but this is a taking, man. The government has taken your ability to earn a living. When they do that, they have to at least give you some kind of compensation. It's just, hey, buddy, they have to. And I'm just telling you, man. I mean, this idea that we can't go in any more debt, Well, there's still mass amounts of unemployment, and people are still down on their luck. That's just wrong. I do believe it. In fact, I subscribe to Economic Policy Institute (EPI), far left economic group, but they made a good point in their email today. It goes, deficits should not worry about deficits should not come before people's losing their jobs and building making income. And I completely agree, especially because we didn't ask for this. This was never put to vote. No one ever voted on this. It was all from the government. Is all from the government. If they're going to mandate, they need to have the ability to provide you some recourse or at least compensation. Is a takings, especially when it's mom and pop businesses. That still ticks me off. All these mom and pop businesses being put out, and while Lowe's and Home Depot and all these guys, Walmart can stay open, mom and pop businesses are getting put out. All right. So to be clear, it's critical to emphasize. The depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund does not mean it goes bankrupt. I agree with that 100%. 2035 depletion date projected by their marks the year when the payroll tax revenues will cover only 79% of current legislative benefits. Let's see. Nevertheless, the possible Social Security retirement benefit cut of 20% is horrifying, and it's not going to happen. The high unemployment rates of the pandemic are what could move forward the date of reckoning. I agree with that. Oh boy, Alicia Munell. So she's saying it can move up to the depletion date from 2035 to 2033 or so. I was looking at one of my old Social Security things. I think it said 2039, if I'm not mistaken. So we've had a gradual, steady decline in depletion date. Therefore, once this crisis subsides, stabilizing Social Security finances should be a high priority. The Bipartisan Policy Center offers an even grimmer prediction. It uses the Great Recession as its baseline, adjusts for the aging of the population and some other things to predict that another downturn like the last one would accelerate the depletion until 2029. For years, the trustees have warned that policymakers need to act to avoid the depletion. I agree. The Medicare is the issue, my friends. Medicare is, all right, so let's see. All right, do we got, this is just old age survivor disability insurance. We don't have HI. So remember, Medicare is the HI part of it. All right. So when you're paying your property, your FICA, 6.2 goes to OASDI, 1.45 goes to HI hospital insurance. That's your Part A, by the way. That's the free benefit you get once you hit 65 on Medicare. You still got to pay for your Part B premiums, but Part A is free. Medicare is in a world of hurt, dudes. Medicare is done by 2026. I mean, that's all there is to it. So everyone wants to talk about Social Security. I say, look at Medicare, and Medicare is in great shape compared to Medicaid. One of my pet peeves on Medicaid, I said this on Blue in the Face, is that if you have resources, you should not trying to be hiding assets to qualify for Medicaid. I don't get why people do try this. It's weird to me, and I know people do. And people are, look, I'm not giving you a moral judgment. I don't understand the idea that you would want your people you don't know, i.e., your taxpayer, to fund your long-term care with Medicaid, while you have assets you just shielded through irrevocable trust or gifting. That doesn't make sense, because Medicaid, the bulk is coming on your neighbors in the state. The state covers Medicaid. Some of the biggest line items in state budgets for Medicaid. And when you're going on Medicaid, I don't know why you'd want to, but B, let's just say you did, you're essentially a ward of the state asking your neighbors to provide for you while you have all these assets out here that are going to your kids or to your to other people. I've never understood why people want to do that. It makes no sense. Anyway, so here, yeah, there you go. Medicare 2026, exactly right there. So a grim prediction for Medicare. Yep, could not agree more. David Shulkin, Deputy Affairs, says a pandemic could lead to Medicare trustee insolvency by 2022. Much like the current pandemic, solving the problem Medicare and Medicaid financing is going to require public and private collaborations. What a payroll. Okay, so I'm done with it. All right, so that's good. I agree with all that. Absolutely. So let's see what Meg, you're not going to get a 20% cut in Social Security. You're not. It's not going to happen. It's not. Stop. You're not getting a 20% cut in Social Security. Let's see if we can't. Well, I'm not going to be able to. Let me stop sharing real quick. I'm going to see if I can't find. Oops. All right, so I'm going to try doing it real quick. Is I'm going to see if we can't find Dan Ross. Okay, right here. All right, so I'm typing in. Hold on, right here. All right, so let's see if we can't. Let's get back to that. I'm going to share with you guys something that I'd like for you all to watch. If you think they're going to cut Social Security. Dan Rostenkowski, run, Rosty, run, Forrest. All right, let's see if we got that on here. All right, so this goes back to Dan Rostenkowski, if memory serves, used to be the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. The House Ways and Means Committee is actually probably the most powerful person in DC, other than the president of the United States, because they are essentially the check writers of the federal government. Remember, everything originates in the House. Well, it goes to the House Ways and Means. It goes to the House of Representatives for approval. Goes up to Senate. They negotiate. It comes back to a joint committee to do all the sausage making, and then it goes to the president. That's how it works. But everything revolves around the House Ways and Means. So the chairman of the House Ways and Means is the big deal. That's all there is to it. Rostenkowski was a chairman of the House Ways and Means in the late 80s, and he was a prominent liberal from Chicago. All right, so I don't know if it's going to let me play this or not, but let's see. So what this media, I can show you, getting rid of entitlement programs, it can be done. Check out, it can be done. All right, watch. I don't know if this is going to play. Hold on. All right, so on April 17th, 1989, a crowd of 250 senior citizens chased down Rostenkowski after he refused to speak with them. Let's see if you all can see this, I hope. All right, let's keep going. Among their demands was the repeal of the Medicare Catastrophic Coverage Act signed into law by Reagan. I don't know what that is, but the law increased taxes on Social Security on seniors for the benefit of the few needing catastrophic care. The seniors are members of the Chicago-based lobbying group, but hold on just a second. I guess they're not going to show it. So we'll see if we can't show Rossi at this town hall on the run, and he's being chased out of this town hall and wherever Milwaukee Avenue in Chicago is by these senior citizens who are pissed off that they're trying to raise taxes on their Social Security benefits to pay for whatever the catastrophic Medicare stuff was. I don't know what it was. Right here, hold on. And this is Chicago. This is Chicago. All right, this isn't in freaking Dallas, Texas, or something like that. You see all these old people chasing them down, saying, "Don't raise our taxes. Don't raise our taxes." Long story short, this led to the ultimate what they call the third rail of politics. You never touch Social Security. You never touch Social Security. You never touch Social Security. Bush thought he had political capital to spend when he got reelected in 2004. And my man Andrew Biggs, who I've interviewed twice on this channel, maybe three times, from AEI, American Enterprise Institute, thought they had some political capital to go forward with advancing private accounts for Social Security. That was a big fat lead balloon. It blew up like the what's the that Zeppelin that blew up. You know what I'm talking about? The freaking Zeppelin, whatever that thing. What the hell? Oh my goodness. It blew up. It's gonna blow up again. If they try messing with Social Security, it's gonna blow up. So Meg, stop. I'm telling you. What look, Biden's already proposing, and I mean, Ben Stein, the economist, who's a very conservative actor, by the way. I don't know if he still acts anymore. I remember 15 years ago now, he was calling for he said basically we need to raise taxes on the higher earners. That was Ben Stein, not some freaking shrinking violet lefty. And I'm telling you right now, I fall in that thing. A lot of that ticks off a lot of righties. They say, how can you be for raising taxes, taxation and theft? I said, well, we're already being stolen from. And I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. The tax rates are going to go up. They're not going to take Social Security from it. It's just not going to happen. But they will raise taxes on wealthier people. I'm telling you. I bet I would even say Trump does it when he gets reelected. There's no political will to defend the Jeff Bezos of the world from their taxes going up. None whatsoever. But there is a political will to solidify Social Security. So what they're going to do, which is going to pain me, is they're going to get rid of the cap on Social Security taxes. So you pay 6.2, I pay 12.4 because I pay on both sides up to like 134,000. Once you make more than 134,000, you don't pay any more 6.2, or 12.4. But you still pay the 1.65 on Medicare, the hospital insurance. And again, I pay both sides of that as well for everything. And they're going to do the same with Social Security. That's inevitable. Trump's going to win, and he'll probably throw that as a bone to get some infrastructure done to lock in his tax bill from 2017. And frankly, I'd be okay with that without question. I don't like having to pay more Social Security taxes. I don't like that at all because it's a big tax hit. But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. They're going to penalize higher earners for sure. Biden's thing was they're going to tax real estate transactions on no more 1031 exchange if you make more than $400,000 a year in income. And I got no qualm with that either. I say get rid of all charitable deductions. Just be done with it. Just get a simple flat tax. Be done. You make this, you pay that. You make this, you pay that. We're done. No more deductions. No more freaking all this crap. Let's just get rid of it. Say we're done. And make the tax code fair and easy. It's never going to happen because people like Dan Rostenkowski and the House Ways and Means, they got so many lobbyists kissing their butt, begging for 5 minutes of this guy's time. It's nuts. And I know many of y'all have never been in DC, never mind gone to the hallowed halls of Washington, D.C., where the senators and the congressmen are. I have. Like I said, I used to be courier down there. And the one thing I always notice is all the ladies look good. It's nuts how many of these freaking perverts had their young, very pretty ladies, always in short skirts and all that. It was bad. It's an ugly place because it's all sexist without question. And somehow Chris Dodd, Joe Biden, Ted Kennedy were allowed to stay where they ran Bob Packwood out for being a sexist creep. But all these other guys like that too. I'll never forget. You go down to DC, you're going to see these young ladies all dressed to the nines, and you're like, this is like going back to 1950s. It's crazy. And I'll never forget that. You're going down there and say, what's going on down here? And then you go to these hallowed halls, you see all these lobbyists all just prancing the halls, going from office to office. Hey, Senator, hey, Congressman, can I get a minute of your time? Talk to my chief of staff. It's such a freaking, so let me real quick, just while I'm on this rambling here. Dude, you kill me, buddy. Come on. Everyone wants to see Pablo. Yeah. So oh yeah, there he is. Hello, Pablo. Hello, Pablo. We know we love you. So I'm going to share another article, and then we'll see what we got on for questions here. All right. So I'm a huge fan of the American Conservative, right here, the American Conservative website. There's two things in this today's issue, if you will, the conservative ink to big tech pipeline. So for all of you right wingers who say, "Oh man, we have the holy grail and we're standing up for freedom and justice in the American way," um, let me just share with you one thing. So this is my man, Declan. So it must be Irish. Leary can't get much more Irish than that. We're going to go down here. This is called SESTA, which is the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act. The bill became law with overwhelming support, bipartisan support. Only two senators, Rand Paul and Ron Wyden, voted against. I'm actually somewhat fond of Ron Wyden for some reason because he's more of a he can be negotiated with. So he's one of the few remaining Democrats who are pragmatists, almost like a Barney Frank of the old days. Liberal, but he's pragmatist. Anyway, the issue here is Google thought they could get this, that they could pay some money and not have that pass. And the legislation passed overwhelmingly. So what happened was its easy passage came despite the best efforts of powerhouses like Google and suggested that these companies' old way of operating in DC was no longer viable. For a long time, tech giants could count on strong alliances with Democrats in the progressive movement, together with the pro-business Republican Party's overall aversion to regulation to ensure general freedom from Washington interference. But a strong Republican House through most of the Obama years, followed by Republican control of all three branches after 2016, meant that Silicon needed friends in Washington's names whose names were not followed by a D. The Google Transparency Project released a landmark report in December 2019 detailing the way Google went about making these new trends. It hinges on a single person. Six-year employee Rachel Whetstone was promoted to senior vice president for communications and public policy in May. Shortly after Whetstone took on a new role, Google began making contributions with between $25,000 and $100,000 to Atlas Network, which her grandfather founded. So they made all these contributions, and then they even made up to support to six figures between $100,000 and $1 million, earning in its a spot in Atlas Network's Freedom Champion Circle. In 2018, Google was once again giving less than $100,000 to Atlas Network, but by then it was also directly funding many conservative groups as well. They include the American Conservative Union, American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC, Competitive Enterprise Institute, Heritage Foundation, the Mercatus Center from George Mason. Anyway, they said the report is worth reading in full. It's no coincidence that infamously a progressive corporate behemoth, Google, was throwing wads of cash at conservative groups just at a time that a majority of the Republican Congress was weighing legislation that might chip away at Google's bottom line. Even limited liability for third-party content could cost Google millions, and opportunistic appeals to market-minded Republicans on grounds of freedom and limited government might save substantial amounts of money in the long run. But this is just one small part of the bigger picture. Check this out. In April 2019, the Senate Judiciary Committee, controlled by Republicans and chaired by Ted Cruz, so I donated to him before I jumped on the Trump train, rejected a Google witness for a hearing on free speech concerns on big tech platforms. The witness was a guy named Max Pappas. I think we got a guy on here named, who had just been hired by Google. Pappas was expected to make inroads into the conservative establishment because he had a background for it. He had been the 4 years as chief economist and director of research for Ted Cruz. Though the episode hardly worked out in Google's favor, it's indicative of the strategy that Google and other tech companies have been shifting towards in recent years. Hiring staffers with strong connections in DC conservative establishment and hopes that those connections will prove more beneficial than in personal donations to right-of-center nonprofits. Let's see. We got Karan Bhatia is vice president for government affairs and public policy at Google. He came to Google from GE, but before that, he served as deputy U.S. trade representative, among a number of other positions, the Bush administration. Interesting. He remains well known in the conservative circles. Oh, then we go back here to Rob Portman. Let's see. We have another Google vice president, Mark Isikowitz, who has been at Google since 2019, but he was chief of staff to Rob Portman from Ohio. Did you see what's going on in Ohio? Two arrests of criminal activity from the both Republicans, but was it both? Yeah, it was both. I think it was the House Speaker and I think 5 other guys, and then there's another guy too, both big time indictments and arrests and whatnot. All while John Kasich was governor too. So he was not governor now, but all this corruption was going on under John Kasich's watch. Now John Kasich is going to take up arms with Joe Biden because John Kasich is the son of a mailman. Let's see. We got the Freddie Barnes spent 6 years as policy director for Kevin McCarthy, but now he's with Google. Derek Dockery spent years with Paul Ryan. David Urban was with Donald Trump's campaign. All right. So there you go. The whole point about this is the Republican Party is in bed with these guys. So the issue is like going back to is when you go to DC, you see these guys lined up one by one, all trying to suck at the teat of the federal government, and they do it through the House Ways and Means Committee primarily, but certainly anyone they can get their hands on. I thought that was pretty interesting. It's there's some ugly stuff in DC, and the Republican Party isn't going to save it for sure. That's what I'm all about. What Josh Hawley's trying to do, and I hope that he keeps at it because we need to police these people up. It's interesting too, if you will. I've always been not always. I used to be a big lib because I was born and raised on the left. But the interesting thing was, I'll never forget. I thought it was going to be death to America when Clinton DOJ took on the Microsoft. They sued Microsoft because Microsoft would not allow the Netscape browser on the Microsoft operating platforms. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this is bad. Blah, blah, blah. We're going back to FDR. And now, man, I tell you, I've gone 180 degrees. I'm glad they did that. And the minute Clinton DOJ took on Bill Gates and Microsoft, what did Bill Gates start doing? He started donating hells a lot of money to the Democrats because he says, the Republicans are safe because they're supposedly for free markets. The Democrats are coming after me. And so I'm going to donate to make friends and alliances with the Democrats. And you fast forward, basically 25 years, and here we are. Silicon Valley and all the tech support are all big on the left because they don't fear the Republicans at all. And and yet here we are with censorship as far as the eye can see, and no one seems to stand up against it, other than Josh Hawley, and I think it might have even been Cruz. So, all right, let's see what kind of thoughts, questions, concerns we have on there. I thought you guys might get a kick out of that. So let's go here. And I'm sure I'm going to have to squander my Libertarian Party credentials and my Republican Party credentials because I'm not pure as the wind-driven snow. What I care about is middle class America. The rich people, whatever. The rich people get by because they got the money. Poor people will get by because they got the benefits from the government. The middle class, they're on their own. And the middle class are on their own with all kinds of insanity that's thrown their way. And yet we're being squeezed every which way. And once we get squeezed more and more, there is no middle class. Without a middle class in the United States, it's over. It's literally that simple. The middle class is what keeps the Bolsheviks at bay and the corporatists at bay. Without a middle class, there is no America. And that's, at the end of the day, if we have to raise taxes to support the middle class, I literally don't care. I used to, big time. I never yet read Ben Stein. I said, no, I can't raise taxes. And at the end of the day, no. The rich people are not, they're not supporting middle-class people. They certainly don't care. They are supporting the left. And at some point, you just got to say, at some point, you got to realize these people are against you. And you got to say, okay, if you're going to be against us and giving all this money to support left-wing lunacy, well, you might as well be against us and give all this money to the federal government so that we can solidify Social Security and Medicare, because that's the retirement plans that the middle class supports, relies on. And we paid a hell of a lot of money for that stuff too, by the way. Self-employed, if you're making, if you're $100,000, you're self-employed, you're paying $15,300 every year for Social Security and Medicare, $15,300. And by the way, that does not reduce your marginal tax rate either. All right, so now you still have $100,000 in which you got to pay income tax on after standard deductions and whatnot. Trust me, I'm there. And even if you're just digging ditches for a living, you're still paying 7.65 each and every year. You got to earn income. Those are our security systems. We need those because we paid a hell of a lot of money for these. When people say we're not saving enough, well, hell's bells, because we're spending so much on taxes for these programs. They damn well better be there when it comes for us to retire. All right, so let's see what we got here. And I appreciate you all hanging in there for sure. Oops, I gotta go to my channel. Hold on just a second. How do we let's go here, blink, we go here. All right, so we'll come down to see what some kind of Q&As we are. And again, appreciate y'all being here, kind of short notice. Like I said, I enjoy these live streams. They're fun. They're cathartic. I always forget half the words I say. They're whatever. It makes me feel good and it's stress relieving to me. So I appreciate you hearing me yell out, man. All right, so let's see what we got. We're gonna go through these. Oh, it doesn't let me. Ooh. All right, so it only lets me go back a little bit, folks. Ooh. Can I not go back? Pop out chart. Toggle time thing. Okay. All right, so we got. All right, so my man Carl says he wouldn't get married. That's for sure. If she requires it, hard next. You'd just be a retirement plan for her. My mom got swindled out of hundreds of thousands of dollars from a gold digging guy. I know a guy whose mom got swindled out of lots of money from a Nigerian prince. Literally, I'm saying people are still falling for this. Oh man. Pray for Rush too. Right on, man. Big fan of Rush Limbaugh. Big fan. I've noticed that what few stores I go to, everyone is like robots. It's true. It's true. People no longer make eye contact or, God forbid, speak to each other. Robots walk around their masks on. Hey, Ronald. Que paso? What's going on, everybody? Interesting. We never hear of the Imperial College of Medicine model was. It was like it never happened. The Imperial College of London, Carl, just ICL. Always remember ICL, Imperial College of London. And they have, remember, who funds the ICL? I did a video on this a couple months ago. It's actually pretty creepy. I won't get into it here, but because I can't off the top of my head, I can't remember. But if you look at who funds the ICL, it's pretty creepy. And these are just the people explicitly that funds these guys. It's not a good place. All there is to it. So just FYI, this would. How did? I'm still to this day, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. There's a right-wing guy on this channel who supported me financially. And when I came as a skeptic against the commie virus, he was just upside down and angered towards me. And I remember I asked him, I'm not going to say his name, I said, you didn't believe in the climate change stuff, do you? I mean, that's all manufactured fake data. He goes, no, I know those guys are crooks and they should be in jail. I said, why do you believe this? It's the same thing. It's the weirdest thing. And he just... I still to this day, I just don't get like how rational people don't see how this is just not. Look, it's bad that anyone dies. It's bad. It's not. It's. And I'm going to say this, and people say, "Oh, you don't care about grandma." I said, "I do care about grandma." This isn't that big of a deal from what we've been taught to believe. It's just not. And to have people losing their jobs, have people losing their businesses, have people not be able to go back to school. We know people in Dallas who have to put face shields on, not just masks for students going to school, face shields. This ain't right. This is not right. I don't understand it. And I'm saying, what was previous, just rational people can understand when they're being snookered. I literally don't understand. And thankfully, my wife is on board with. We're in complete agreement because I don't know how it could be married to someone who would wake up in fear like this. It's crazy. I don't understand. People in the Bay Area, I don't know that's where you live, brother, are scared stiff and blaming Trump for his non-response. That's why you knew it's political, because they're blaming Trump. Every time someone posts something about the commie virus, they always have to say, yeah, Trump isn't doing anything about it. So basically you're just using this as Trump's Katrina. Remember the Puerto Rican grid going down was going to be Trump's Katrina. Then there's something else that's going to be Trump's Katrina. Now this one seems to stick. It's frightening to me. It really is. It's frightening how normally rational. Look, I get the left. The left is zombies. I get that. They literally have no humor, no sense of self-thought. But it's the people that are nominally on the right, or at least libertarian, that I remember listening to Reason Magazine's podcast. And I remember, they have this guy, Suderman or something like that. I remember he was scared crapless when this first came out. I'm sitting there thinking, because the models from the ICL. I said, it was weird to me. It's weird to me the level of the inherent fear that just came down. It's like people have been reading so many pandemic, fiction novels that they almost want one to happen. And I can't believe here it is the end of July, and I'm still talking about it. I thought I can't believe it. I'm hanging in, painful even to look at things like Apple and what's Apple? Is Apple getting killed? Take a gander. Well, by the way, met with this nice couple today who I've worked with before. At hospitality, right on, Ron. Gotcha. Hospitality. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Well, that's not off that much. I mean, is that 16? Oh, it went all the way to 4. Man, look at that. Look at that. Man, look at that. So my man Jeff Rains, I'm not sure if he's on here, but he bought some one of those tour companies, the boat companies. You know what I'm talking about, the Diamond Princess, whatever those companies are. He bought it like literally at the bottom, and I can't remember the Diamond Norwegian Airlines, Norwegian, something like that, and he's made a freaking killing. But the problem is you have to have cash to buy in which to make a killing. And if you have cash, that means how long have you been sitting on cash? All right, so yeah, SNL is not even funny anymore, but you've got to watch the Tom Hanks Black Jeopardy. It is, man, that's one of the funniest skits I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, the guy, the host. So I guess a grandma is at the bottom, like they're at a second floor, and you hear her with a broomstick banging on the floor of the ceiling, and her said, "Okay, Mrs. Smith below us is banging on the ceiling with her broom. That means it's time to shut down. We got to go to Final Jeopardy." Oh, man, it is. It is funny. If I guarantee my lefty friends, they won't laugh because they have forgotten how to smile. Yeah, I was Andrew Biggs. Meg says she remember Andrew Biggs' article when I was born on one of the first Social Security down years, 1961. I tell you, we've come back a hell of a lot stronger than I thought, Meg. I don't know what to make. I mean, earnings aren't nearly as bad at Q2 that we anticipated so far, which tells me that Q3, the ultimate Q2, which will probably be what derives your concern for, being born 1960, 1961. I don't know if there's going to be an issue at all 1961 now. It just looks like, as we sit here today, it looks like just a quick, painful, that's it. It just does. And we've been able to recover almost to the point where we're going to have the huge growth in Q3. Again, huge growth off a bad Q2, but that will offset some of the downside. Now, what Andrew is saying, I think he said they come out in August or September. I think September is when they calculate their GDP for you and anyone, for the average wage index. So if they're calculating the GDP in September, you'll be off the bottom for June. So we'll have July, August, and I'm not sure how far they go. And maybe it's in October. I think it was October now I think about it. So you have July, August, and September, 3 months of pretty positive growth. So you have a 5% decline Q1. It looks like only a 20% decline. Q2 is not quite out yet. Does that come out this Friday? Unemployment? No, that'll be next week. Right? Because no, it'll be the week after next. So basically, in 2 weeks, we'll have pretty good data for the first quarter or the first month of Q3. We might even have data for the end of Q2 for GDP. Anyway, so down 5, we'll just say down 20, which is a hell of a lot less than what most people, myself including, were anticipating. And, seeing these home sales, all that, I mean, if we get a GDP up 20, that's not going to offset a down 20, but you're not going to take it on the chin like we had thought. And if you're in 1961, I don't think it's going to affect you at all. But you're not getting a 20% cut. The problem with the CARES Act, 600 weeks being paid out, it can stop some people. No, I agree with that, James. I think a lot of people are actually not inclined to go back to work. And then once this election's behind it, this is the thing. Look, democracy ain't all it's cracked up to be. I mean, the facts are, we're going to keep people to not go to work and on borrowed money. But you can't. I mean, what's Trump going to do? He's going to say no. You got to go back to work, and there's okay. I'm going to hold it against you come November. I mean, just he can't win here. It's just so. And you can make the argument not only can't he win, but this another stimulus, which I didn't get the first one, still ticks me off because I think I need stimulus just like anybody else. But anyway, long story short, that they're going to pass another one. It's going to reward people for not going back to work. I guess you can say the same for early retirees using tax money from ACA if you want to go by that same rationale. Do I still have the 1 hour phone advice service? I do not right now, Robert. I do not. I don't. States are trying to manage Medicaid by having private insurance companies take the management over. Been tried before. TennCare, Hawaii. I have not watched Meet Kevin's new bit about the rule of 200. What is that? Medicaid is in a world of hurt, and there's no. And going back to old John Kasich, it's my Christian duty to expand Medicaid. You freaking fool! Don't you understand that by expanding Medicaid, you're only making the system that much less solvent, which means you're going to hurt more people in the long run. What do I think about Vanguard Life Strategy Income Fund in a non-retirement account? I just like Ginnie Mae. Someone told me that the guy I was working with today. Apparently, the Ginnie Mae has his own Admiral shares. I did not know that. So look for, instead of VFIIX, look at the Ginnie Mae Admiral shares, which I don't know what the ticker is. I think it said VIAJS. I think is what he said, something like that. I do not agree on being taxed on Social Security either. Right? No, I know it's nuts. Any cuts to Social Security is political suicide. Yep. I'm not a fan of the ACA loophole for early retirees either. I didn't see that comment. I'm not sure what that was referring to. So I didn't see the comment for ACA loophole for early retirees. I'm not sure what that comment was. So I'd like to, if someone could elaborate on that. What do you think about Vanguard's in a Roth account? Yeah, definitely dividend growth in a Roth account is absolutely the way to go. Absolutely. Any mentions to cuts in public pensions, political suicide? Absolutely stupid. No one's going to do that. They're going to put in a blue panel commission. They're going to come back and say this blue panel commission said this, and they're going to make sure that no politicians are at risk. I mean, the politicians, they know how to play this. Hindenburg, that's right. Thanks, Michael. Glad I learned about this far before retirement. We'll use just one tax. Oh, I don't have it on here. I do want to talk real quickly, my friends, about why are you growling at me? Buddy, come on, stop growling at me. I'm not sure what oh boy. Okay. Someone was saying, I forgot who wrote it. It was actually a real good article. I think it was actually a libertarian mag, but the issue was that 401k plans have no value other than for most Americans anymore, other than the match. And I'm paraphrasing here. And his reasoning was sound. He said, look, when 401k plans came out, the median tax rate, the marginal tax rate for the median income household in America was 43%. Now it's 12. He said there was capital gains. I can't remember if he said their tax as ordinary income. I can't remember, but he said capital gains tax were whatever it was, ordinary income, and now is zero for the median income household. Median income, that means 12% tax bracket, no capital gains. He said, what else did he say? I can't remember, but like made three other arguments I thought was pretty good. And he said, so basically, unless you have a match, putting money into a 401k, it doesn't make any sense unless you're in a high income tax bracket, because if you put into a taxable account, A, you have access to it. B, you're not paying that much in tax anyway, relative to what it was. I mean, you're paying 12%. The median household income tax at 12%. It's just not that big of a deal. And I've talked in other videos about the tax torpedo, which you could pay still be in a 12% marginal tax bracket, but pay 35% when you factor in taxing on your Social Security benefits. So you're still in the marginal 12%, but every $10,000 of IRA distributions you take makes some of your Social Security taxes, which makes you have to pay $3,500 in income tax on that $10,000 social IRA distribution, which means it's a 35% effective tax rate. And I couldn't agree with that more. And so I just challenge you guys that unless you see some significant income that you need to defer, that's what a deferral, a 401k is essentially your own deferring your income by putting money into your 401k. So you get a tax deduction today, but then you got ultimately you got to claim that deferral as ordinary income. So unless you have a big tax bracket where you need to, hold on a second. Let me text people so they'll take this guy. All right, what's up, Grumpy Stiltskin? Old Grumpy Stiltskin here. All right, there we go. So I agree with that. I think I don't contribute to any deferred accounts. I contribute all to my M1 Finance on a regular basis. Again, to VTI. That's what I put. Every 2 weeks I put a decent amount of money into VTI, because a tax deferral for me, I think, is going to be open up a can of worms later on for when I need to pay tax on that money. Yeah, Intuit and H&R Block and CPAs, they make so much money on complicated taxes. No way they'll ever be an easy taxes. It ain't never gonna happen. Look, I love Dick Armey. He had written a book on the flat tax back in 1995. He was an economics professor, I think, at SMU. I can't remember. He was an economics professor. Phil Gramm was an economics professor, both from Texas. Phil Gramm was a Democrat who resigned his seat, re-ran as a Republican, and I was a big fan of Phil Gramm. I actually, I'm still somewhat agnostic about the repeal of Glass-Steagall. I don't know. I've initially I was all for that. Now I'm not so sure, but I'm not one of these anti-Glass-Steagall acts. The Citizens United, I'm starting to doubt that now, which is interesting. The change can come once you see that corporate America that you thought was going to be the epitome of freedom and free markets are not like that at all. And it's interesting dynamic, actually, which my man at the American Conservative talks about. There's an article they talk about that conservatism is no more, and we need to change. I can completely agree. All right. But paying tax on Social Security is not right. I completely agree. Yeah. Reb Java says that he predicts, or she predicts, they'll lift the cap on Social Security contributions at some point. I completely agree. No tax exemptions for anyone. Pablo, right on, Sean. No deductions fine with me. Standard deduction is fine, but no tax on. So, right, man. You say, look, yeah, but so Jill, what they're saying on, so I'm not defending this. I'm just saying their argument is logical. At least it used to be until Clinton raised it in 1993. The argument was that you are paying your own money in. All right, so your own money comes back to you tax free. The money your employer puts in has never been taxed. All right, because your employer gets to write that off as absolutely correct, and you get it essentially. That will be, it's almost like a match. You're putting 6.2. Your employer's putting 6.2. 50,000 comes out, 25,000 is accredited to you, essentially tax free. The other 25,000 has yet to be taxed. Your employer put that money in, got to deduct it off their bottom line. You get that money. You haven't paid income tax on it until today. That's a logical argument. I get that. Where the logic breaks down is making it 85% tax, because what that means is you are paying taxes twice without question. You're basically saying I'm paying tax. My 6.2% contributions have been taxed. That is a fact. That is money being withheld from me. It's inherently taxed. And if I get for simplicity, $100,000 out, I put 50,000 in there. My employer put 50,000 just for simplicity. Now I take $100,000 out. I have to pay tax on 85,000 of that, which means I'm paying tax on my own contribution. Now, what Social Security will argue is that, no, but that's not true, Josh, because that was tax deferred growth. You didn't truly put a 50,000 in there. You put X amount in there. Now it grew deferred. Essentially, what the argument would be that the $100,000 is really the gains that you have made in the Social Security from a deferral perspective, from which you put really 10,000 in, your employer put 10,000 in. And I find that to be full of crap. I mean, logically that makes sense. It's no different than an after-tax IRA contribution. You get your principal back tax-free. I get that, but any gains you pull out, you got to pay tax on it. I get that, but the problem is that we have no choice in this matter. That's what annoys me more than anything. We have no choice. We have no choice in the investments we make. We have no choice. We have no choice when we can take it, other than between the corridors of 62 to 70. And even then our choices are minimal because we'll have it reduced if we take it too early. Yeah, we'll lose it. If I die, my wife will lose hers and get mine instead. So she loses it. So, I mean, the logic that they makes is right. But in terms of reality, it's stupid because you're sitting there thinking, no, this bull crap, man. We had nothing to do with this. You force it on us. So at least what they should do is say, we're only going to tax 50% of your benefit, like they used to do under Reagan. But now they don't do that. They tax up to 85%. Now, with that said, I mean, they will make another argument that you don't have to pay any Social Security taxes, none. If all you got is Social Security you're living on, you pay no tax. A couple I was dealing with today, a $10,000 or $12,000 pension, $1,000 a month, and $50,000 in Social Security. They're not paying any tax, none whatsoever. They got $60,000 of income, $5,000 a month, no tax whatsoever. So that would be another argument. But I still think the fact that we have to go down these rabbit holes to have this discussion, arguments, is stupid. It's like, just freaking make it simple. Man, I'm missing something because my man Ray says that's because Oregon has a fairly sizable conservative contingent, and most in Eastern Oregon. I think they're trying to succeed. If I was Trump, I'd say, all right, you want DC to be a state, do you? Let Oregon succeed. Let California split up. Let Virginia succeed, or split up. When I say succeed, I mean from the rest of the state. All that. I'm happy to grant you 2 more Democratic guaranteed seats in Washington, D.C., but only Republican fool, Newt Gingrich, and all these liberals on the Republican side would say, yeah, let's make DC a state. And that's what they also said about Puerto Rico too. Let's make Puerto Rico a state. That'll make us look good into the Hispanic community. You're freaking idiots, man. This is how bad the Republican Party is. Trump's not that stupid. So Trump said, all right, when I win re-election, we can make DC a state and you'll get guaranteed 2 senators, but we're going to offset it with allowing Oregon to do a referendum on its ability to split up California, Virginia, all kinds of states. It'll be fun. And then we'll have 100 states. 80 would be Republican, 20 would be far left Democrat, and let's let that roll, man. And we can still keep representation under the House of Representatives. The Democrats will still probably control the House, but the Republicans would have, freaking huge amount of 160 senators, and Democrats had 40. So I'm all for that. Eastern Oregon wants to join Ohio. Yep. Married filing jointly under 80 is 0%. Exactly right. Actually, remember that's your taxable income. But I think a lot of people think that's their AGI. It's not. So, oh man, is that my man Starling? I don't care what that guy Starling is. Navy guy. We won't hold it against him. I appreciate Starling. He's not okay. One of my daughters just texted me and said he's not going potty. I know, but he's like growling at me over here. I'm like, dude, I've been sweating like a pig today. Maybe I just smell. He said, dude, you need to take a shower. I did brush my teeth. All right. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, so remember, if you're married filing jointly, and my man Invest and Grow, is that a YouTube channel you do? He's right. If you got $80,000 of taxable income, you have no income capital gain tax whatsoever. But that means you can have roughly $105,000 of AGI because of the standard deduction. Always remember that the difference between AGI and taxable income. Man, you got to know this, because if you have 80,000 of AGI and think you're right on the threshold of the next tax bracket, you're wrong, man. You're not anywhere near it. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Texas. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on why you need to leave Texas. People are going to get mad. man. Why you need to leave Texas? Just for you guys that are on here right now, it's because property taxes. No other way around that. Talking to a guy the other day, he and his wife, good. Like for some reason, the people who hire me are just my kind of people. I don't know why, but real quick, just some of you were saying, why can't you keep politics out of it? Why can't you just be like these other guys? You don't understand what my thought process has always been. My thought, oh man, who's my man there who gave me? All right, so my thought process has always been to stake your claim. Damn, someone gave me $10. Wow. Oh man, you guys are all right. I don't care what they say, man. You guys, oh, I knew that was Brett. I could see the dog. I said, hey, but the dog's got sunglasses on. Right on. But I always want to stake a claim. I always want to say, this is where I fall. You may or may not like it, but at least you know I'm going to be honest with you. And I felt that I would be able to appeal to people who thought like me, who were inclined to maybe do business with me, might be more inclined because they knew that I agree with them. I will never be discriminatory. So, oh, you're a big lib, I'm not going to hire you, but they'll self-select most likely. But the point about my business is that I think a lot of people are too afraid to stake a claim in the ground. And I think that's bad. And I think that because what people are looking for, I hate to say authenticity because it's so cliche, but I think at some point you gotta be who you are. And if you hide from that, at some point it's gonna come out and then people are like, oh, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. I get this every now and again, like, oh, I didn't know I was on a political channel. I was like, well, my third video is talking about how much I love fossil fuels. I've always talked about my anti-climate change people. I've always talked about my love of fossil fuels. I've always talked about the tax code, how Trump made it better. One of my most watched videos is TurboTax 2018. I talked about the Trump tax bill, and I talked favorably about it. And I get so many people like, it's just one of those things, man. The idea that someone would watch my videos and not know that I have a stake in the outcome of the election. I don't know how you could come to that conclusion unless you never watched before. By the way, it's gonna be pretty interesting. My man JP, all right, now he's a black guy from Mississippi who does oil and mining up in Williston, and JP TV 3000. I think I did a video on this the other day, but I was when I first started my I'm a big fan of JP's channel, and I love his channel without question. It's interesting to watch. And he went back to Mississippi and he's interviewing some folks down in Mississippi where he was from. And I'm listening to these guys. I'm just sitting there thinking, you tell me Trump doesn't have any opportunity at some of these people. I'm not saying all of them, but some of these guys, they're entrepreneurs. They're loving Jesus. You know what I'm saying? These guys are working their tails off, man. And I'm sitting there thinking, you tell me. I don't know. The point about it was, though, here's a black guy going up to Williston in North Dakota, working in the oil fields up there, and he does videos. It's interesting as all can be. And I've been I reached out to him a few months ago, and he reached back, and we just never made it work. But he's finally back in Williston, so I'm going to interview him. I'm very interested. Very interesting. I'm a white guy from Maine. He's a black guy from the deep South, and he's probably around my age. I'm just very interested to see, what his take is on not just like racial stuff, because that bores me, frankly, but just on the state of entrepreneurship in America, the state of the oil business, because that's where he's in. I am interested in what a guy. What I don't want to say Black Lives Matter because those guys are bad, but what a black guy thinks. I mean, it's interesting. And I got black guys who watch my channel. I just talked to one the other day who wants to go start a financial planning firm for black or brown people. And I said, man, I don't know why you guys keep throwing in the brown. If you're black, just throw the black. I don't get the whole thing. Why whole people of color thing? I don't get why blacks allow that. It seems to me, it bothers me. I'm not going to lie to you. They say, oh, I'm BIPOC. I don't like that. Look, I'm white, so people got to do what they got to do. But I mean, if you came to this country on your own accord, you don't have the same level of, you don't have the same issues that blacks had in America. I just find it offensive. I do. And I read all these. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. I'm not making any sense. I just don't like it. I don't like when people get to say I'm a person of color, thus throw me in with the same stuff categories as what blacks had to go through. That bothers me. And it should bother you too. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, green, yellow, pink. It's like, no, you don't get to throw into that. Especially if you're, I don't know, especially if you're rich and you came in from some other country on your own accord, and now you got everything, you're going to fancy University of Chicago or something like that. You don't get to claim that. I don't like it, man. It's yeah, it bothers me. I don't like that. I don't know why I went off that tangent. But anyway, I'm looking forward to interviewing because I think it'll be interesting. The point about that is one of the interesting things about YouTube is that you can interview interesting people. And it's not has nothing to do with financial planning or even I guess a little bit politics, but man, it's interesting. And so people said, but you're a financial planning channel. I was like, yeah, but are you interested in what other people are looking at in the country that we love? I never understood why people seem to be. I have no, I interviewed my man Christian up in South Dakota the other day, a young guy. He's a realtor up in Rapid City. I'm like, it's just interesting. What's going on in your neck of the woods? I find that to be incredibly interesting. The point is, if you know folks who have a story to tell that be appealing to other people, if they want to be interviewed, I can't say I can do everybody, but I think it's interesting, man. And I get a lot out of that. I enjoy meeting what other people are from, what they're going through, what they're seeing out there. It doesn't have to be financial planning. Just keep that in the back of your mind. If there's someone of interest, my wife wants me to interview this guy, Dr. Scott Atlas from the Hoover Institution. Oh man, I told my wife, I don't think he's going to want me to interview him. I mean, he's a bigwig. I'm just Josh. But she's like, oh yeah, you should. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll reach out to him. I got to get the guts. Because I'm like, dude, that guy's like, he's just talked with Condoleezza Rice yesterday. And here comes old Josh trying to interview him. But anyways, that's what makes this fun for me. Because I get to talk about the things I love most, which is financial planning, Pablo, my family, sports, and politics, and just individual people who are living in America. Anyway, all right, enough of that. All right, let's see. Boise is being taken over by Californians. Yeah, but a lot of those Californians, I don't think they're libs, are they? I don't know, man. I'm dealing with a lot of people in California who are getting out of Dodge, and they ain't libs. I'm telling you right now. I don't know. All right. So, little known fact about Illinois: without Cook County in 2016, Trump wins by 350,000. Yeah, that's the same thing in Virginia. You take away Norwood, but I mean that's. I'll never forget seeing a map in 2004 of the counties that this is the first time they did the county thing that Kerry won, and there's one tiny little town in Montana that was blue too. Both are college towns. It's weird, man. You see this huge red, then you see this tiny little blue town, and yet those college towns are relative to the population. Were still pretty big. I didn't carry the state for Kerry, but it made a whole lot closer than it should have been, just because that's what people are. I like the picture today about housing value, not recessionary. Just we're not in a recession anymore. Meg, it's not. Remember the recession is we have 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. We had that Q1, we had that Q2. We're not going to have negative growth in Q3. So when you hear these recession coming, it's clickbait. It's either done for clickbait or it's done by people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. It actually annoys me. The recession is already behind us. Literally, we're not in a recession now. These days are over. Now, again, that doesn't mean because it's growing, we're growing more than we were at the beginning of the year. It just means we're growing off of where the bottom where we were at the end of Q2. But we're not in a recession. It's over. It's done. And I could have sworn someone said July 13th will be out of recession. It was me who said that. I was just being facetious. But at the end of the day, probably second week of June is when they can't officially state when it happened, but you could see the numbers turning in the second week of June to formally state that we're no longer in a recession back then even, but this whole quarter, Q2 is a down quarter, followed by Q1, so it's in recession for sure. Still not where we need to be, and I don't know if we ever will. The aging demographics, I'm not sure we'll ever see the Reagan-esque growth. I don't think we will, and that's too bad. But as you get these economies that are getting older and older and older, consumer spending just falls off a cliff. And when it does, that hurts growth, and that's going to keep interest rates low. It's going to keep inflation somewhat low. I just it's just no it's inevitable. And again, like I said on Sunday live stream, they're saying now that China by the end of this century we'll have less than 800 million people, and Nigeria and India will be the two largest countries by far. And I think maybe Indonesia will be coming up. But either way, it's gonna be Nigeria, India, and China is it's decaying right in front of our very eyes. As is Spain, as is Japan. It's in America isn't quite there yet, but we're getting there. But it's happening all over the world. It's weird. Where did old Josh Day to put? Okay, I don't like bond funds, Meg, in a taxable account. I think that's the wrong answer. I like bonds in an IRA. In fact, if you go, let me just share again real quick. If you go to, all right, I'm just gonna. My sale of my retirement planning course is over, but I do want to show you guys something. You can still watch this video for free. All right, so if we go, I think we got my website up here. All right, sweet. So let's okay, cool. So we go to retirement planning course. Oops. All right, we go to retirement planning course. So it's my website, Heritage Wealth Planning, retirement planning course. Then you just click on this. This will not enroll you now. It'll take you to the next sales page. And then you scroll all the way down to this right asset. That night, go ahead. If you want to, whatever you got to do, you can watch this. It's taking a long time. So, yeah, there you go. This is the probably my favorite video I've done. And I've done a bunch of videos on asset allocation, but this is probably the one I like the best. That's why I put it in this course. Watch that. I think that's incredible. And I'm not trying to sweat myself, but it's a great video. So make sure you watch that, and you can watch it for free. You don't have to be enrolled. It says enroll now. You don't have to do it. You don't have to give me your email. You don't have to do anything. Anyone can go in there and watch that video. Can I talk about able accounts? I don't know anything about them, Eric. Sorry. I don't know anything about able accounts. I've never heard of it. Sorry, man. What would be considered a high tax bracket as it pertains to the 401k discussion? I would think 24 above, Steve. I mean, so if you're in the 22, I think your AGI is 170 if you're married filing jointly. So I'd say, look, there's no science here. I'd say anything 24 or above, I would say is a high tax bracket in order to take a deduction. Social Security will say we were never taxed on the 50% that the employer put in. That's right on 100%. As much as we at SMU would be honored to lay claim to Phil Graham and Dick Armey, they were professors at Texas A&M and North Texas, respectively. Right on, right. Maybe I had SMU on my mind because of you. Right on. And you see my man Viva Frey's videos lately. If you guys want some legal stuff, it's interesting. He's a Canadian who does YouTube stuff on trial attorney or litigator turned YouTuber, Viva Frey. Viva, like you're living, then Frei. And he did the video the other day about the guy who got taken down by not one, not two, but three Montreal police for not wearing a mask. And they pepper sprayed him. And one of the Montreal police didn't have a mask on himself. Nuts. It's crazy. Well, going all right, we're on. Supposedly half of Oklahoma belongs back to the natives again, based on a recent Supreme Court ruling. That perfect segue to my man Viva Frey. What he did a video where he interviewed this guy named Robert Barnes. I don't know who this guy Robert Barnes is. I like him a lot. He's fantastic. He talked about this. It's not nearly. It's a nothing burger. It really is. I think Tim Pool did a video on this, and I think even my man Matt Christensen. I was like, this is just weird. It's not. It's a big nothing burger. It's to some degree, it's justice. Yeah, look, man. We did some bad things. There's no other way around that. And this was somewhat of a, I hate to say a payback, but it's a nothing burger. Watch this video, Viva Frei, Frei, and he interviewed this guy Robert Barnes, and they talk about that in detail. And I said, that's okay. There's nothing to get worked up about. I'm telling you. Appreciate the money, gents. Retired Starling, my man. Brett, right on. Why to leave Texas? Heat and property tax. Right on. That's well, they're not leaving for the heat. They're going to Arizona or Nevada, I think. But see, here's the thing. Remember, I said they got 50,000 in basically Social Security, $1,000 in pension. So if they go to Arizona, there's no income tax. If they go to Nevada, there's already no income tax. If they go to Arizona, their property taxes are a third. If they go to Nevada, I think he said the property taxes are a fourth. So they're not paying. Now I know they're not paying any income tax in Texas either, but they're paying like $8,000 in property taxes. And if they go to Phoenix, not Phoenix, where was I can't remember they're going to Arizona. I forgot. But if they're going to Arizona someplace, they're going to pay $2,500. That's $5,500 a year savings on a budget of $60,000 a year. That's almost 10% of their budget right there. Heat still is heat. You know what I'm saying? Now you can make an argument for barbecue. Texas barbecue is better. You can make an argument. No, you can't make an argument for Mexican food because Mexican food is good in Phoenix or Arizona. They're not going to Phoenix. I forgot where they're going. I can't remember. They don't live. They live in I can't remember where they live. I forgot. But anyway, they got access to good Mexican food in Texas, obviously. So that's a trade-off. That's a one for. What was the other one too? Oh, the electricity bill they're paying in Texas is through the roof. But I said I think it's going to be pretty high in Arizona. When we lived in Arizona, I think it was pretty high as well, but I can't remember. But they're paying like $400 a month in electricity in Texas, and I don't know. Anyway, that's the issue there. All right, Tim says, "Love your take on anything. Not much like Dave Ramsey. Not afraid to speak your mind." Right on, Tim. Yeah, right. Dave Ramsey has so much money, he doesn't have to cater to anyone except his base. Dave says, I mean, I completely agree. You got to talk politics because it's so intertwined. Kirk, that's the whole point. Or Carl, politics isn't its own unique thing in financial planning. So my man, right. Starling says sometimes you have to agree to disagree. Doesn't mean you can't have a conversation. Could not agree more. Now, right on, James. James says he's enjoying my retirement video series. Good. Reach out to Dave Rubin or Tim Pool to interview you instead. You'll get 50. That right? I know, man. I need to get back to so I'm almost done with John Waters. Give us back to bad roads. And when I'm due, I'm getting my head back in that Bible. I can tell you ever get away from the Bible and you can see you just feeling a little not quite on solid ground as you were before. And and I'm a volatile guy. I'm not going to lie to you. So I know I need to get back in the good book because look, I'm not angry or anything. You can kind of tell you like I need to get back to the good look for the peace that it brings you, the good book. All right. So if Trump wins, what's your take on social unrest? I was reading some guy today who said even if Biden wins, we're not done. There's still going to be bad. I think that's probably right. I don't think these people in Antifa or Black Lives Matter are all that big on Biden either, frankly. I don't know. I don't know. That's I don't know. I sit there and I say, do we really want the feds going to the cities? Why don't we just let these cities fend for themselves because they voted for these fools? But then I see these 14 people getting shot in Chicago. Look, I know it's a gang war. I get all that. But I can't get out of my head these little girls that got killed from stray bullets in Atlanta. Well, she got shot deliberately. Chicago a couple times, and I just, there are good people in these places who need to be safe. They have a right to be free. Um, uh, they have a right to go down the store. And I can't. Yes, they maybe voted for these freaking fools who are running these shows, but just because you vote wrong doesn't mean you have to lose your life because thugs are taking over. I, I just look like an Eisenhower. I mean, I look at it like I think Trump needs to pull an Eisenhower, and I think he's getting it. Um, I think it's heroic what Eisenhower did for those people in Arkansas. They if you read the story about Miss Eckford, and I forgot her first name, she was basically broken off from the rest of the crew for the Arkansas Eight, I think, who went to Central High School, and she went. She didn't know she was going to be on her own, and it's literally it's the exact same thing is happening now. It's the exact same thing. We still have a right to vote, obviously, but we aren't getting lynched. I get all that, but it's pretty doggone. Look, I'm not trying to make a moral equivalency, but I don't want anyone to think, oh, you're making it's not. No. But I'm saying the anger and hostility at these people is the similar anger and hostility towards a Trump supporter in Portland, Oregon. And that Trump supporter in Portland, Oregon is going to get his civil rights violated, just like these people did in Arkansas and all throughout America, not just the South. Now, obviously, this as at this stage, there's no Klan that's stringing people up. I get that. So again, not trying to make a moral equivalency. I know there are people. You said this. No, let's stop that. But I think I think at some point you need to get federal intervention because we have innocent people are being subject to the worst dregs of society, and you can't just allow that just because the politics are these people are so nuts. You can't. It's not right. And I just think back to the lady who drew my blood, a couple of months ago, back in January. She left South Chicago because her son was getting further and further pulled into the spider web that was the lies of the thugs and the gangbangers. And she said before he got too deep, we had to leave. And I said, how did you know to go? And she goes, I had a cousin that lived down here, no place to stay. She had enough money for a hotel for a little bit and was able to rent a place. And she didn't deserve, she didn't deserve to, she didn't get shot or anything, but she just because she may or may not have voted for that stupid Lightfoot lady, but she didn't deserve to have to deal with that crap. And anyway, I just it breaks my heart, man. It does. It breaks my heart, and I don't understand why people are so focused on this tiny sliver of bad cops when we have a hell of a lot worse going on to American citizens. It kills me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it kills me. And people just it makes me teary, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sitting there thinking there's these little kids that can't freaking do what you and I did growing up. They can't, and no one gives a crap. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And if it takes freaking federal intervention, this real quick. This is when I was growing up in DC. I can't stand Louis Farrakhan. But the Nation of Islam in DC, they went into to police some of these places that were being overtaken by the drug wars. And as much as you hated it, because they're racist, anti-Semitic, and Farrakhan just, but the cops aren't doing it. The mayor is Barry back then. He wasn't doing it, and innocent people were being mowed down. And that was in the 80s. Was horrible. And so the NOI said, we're going to go down there and freaking clean it up. And again, that's, you can make an argument against that. If you're a white guy living out in the suburbs, I get it. But if you're just trying to go to school and your kid's being shot down just because he didn't join your gang, that's, I don't know. It's just, sometimes you have to, desperate times lead to desperate measures. And we're getting that, in my opinion. Sad. Doesn't have to be like that, but this is what happens when we let Howard Zinn into our schools and get rid of. And I'm not saying we need to bring back God, my goodness, but I mean the idea is freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. With the idea that God is being exclusively excluded from school, that's not constitutional. That's crazy. But this is the freaking Frankfurt School of Germany. This is the cultural Marxists. This is what they do. They tear it down. All right. Reach out. Yeah, right on. Julie was a starter pistol, went off in our tourist town, booming at the July was like a starter pistol in our tourist town, booming at the present time. Right on, Tim. Oh, that's cool. Did you see the article today about the Cobra effect, where the feds are meddling, trying to fix things, will ruin the economy in the next year or so? I have not. No. Tim Hortons takedown. Yeah, that's right. Right. You saw that, Ray. Yeah. Yeah. He talks so fast. He does, man. It's crazy. Able accounts. They are accounts you can convert from a 529 plan. Hey, cool. If you're cool, man. Take care of the home fires first. Anyone who does not provide the relatives, especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Yeah, that's true. Uh, Eastern style rules, Eastern style North Carolina. An update on the best retirement plan video a year ago with a all right, that's a good one. I also got another one. Hey, right on, Bruce. I had a South Dakota, little heat, but more than enough snow. Yeah, that's what I heard, man. Lexington, North Carolina. Yeah. Ooh, man, that sounds good. Tucson is exploding. Yep. It's weird because Tucson is so secluded. When I was there as a pit, dude, we looked at moving to Tucson in 97. I said, I didn't like it at all. I said, this is a pit. You got the University of Arizona. That's pretty much it. I said, nope. And so we moved to Phoenix instead. But all right. Cool. Well, that's good stuff, guys. I guess we'll get on out of here for the night. Much obliged for y'all being here on a short notice. Check out Viva Frey. I like them. Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna do another video by special request on the best states for taxes. Because actually, my man moved from Texas to one of those other states. Really brought up. I got an email from somebody who's been following my channel, and so I need to update that. The best states for taxes, because I think the Tax Foundation will have updated it with the 2018 state legislature. They should be updated um, because what was good in 2017 might not be good in 2018 with a different change in the state legislature. If that makes sure. So I will update that. I'll start doing some videos on that. Tax Foundation's got a bunch of good articles in that regard. I'm looking forward to doing it. I like the tax stuff. Tax stuff makes me happy, to be honest with you, because I think there's value there for sure. I enjoy that immensely. And guess what tax stuff is based on? Politics. All right. We'll see you guys Sunday night, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And don't forget, see some videos manana. And I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks to you guys who gave me some super chats. Much obliged. I will spend that on Pablo's dog food because we're running low and he needs some more food. We'll see you guys. Thanks, everybody.